Hey guys, Griffin here. Today I'm going to tell you a very fun story about how I lost out on $1 million. So you might think that this may have occurred several years in my past, but as I am a young pup, this was actually a year and a half ago. In July of 2021 is when this story begins. Now, I had just started my position at GameStop as a blockchain developer on their new cryptocurrency project that they were starting up. And so I am a mobile developer, and I had started they'd actually hired me on to do Android work, but I ended up doing iOS work because I'm cross-platform. It's a whole thing. But essentially what I was doing was helping them create a cryptocurrency application for storing and accessing this cryptocurrency as the end user. And so what I wanted to do was figure out some market research because I was pretty new to crypto at the time. I knew next to nothing other than I had bought some crypto in 2018 and just played around with it because games were cool and there were some cool games that required Ethereum back then. And so I've always been a gamer. My degree is in game design, and so I wanted to figure out, how cryptocurrency was going to transform the gaming space. And so I made it my mission to go out and actually find some examples of where this was occurring. And one of those examples that I found in my market research was a company called Gala Games. And so at the time when I was looking at them in July of 2021, they were, a smaller company. They were getting established, but they were headed by the co-founder of Zynga, who made a game called Farmville, if you're familiar with that. And so I had some hopes that they could make similar games. And they had one game that currently existed that was called Townstar. And it was of a similar vein to Farmville, but competitive, if you can believe that. So competitive Farmville. And I thought it was pretty fun. So I had taken the time to try out the game and invested a little bit in it. I bought some of their NFTs that they purchased. And I'll do a full deep dive on Gala Games and what I think of them and their ecosystem in my blog, which I'll link in the description below if you want to check that out. This is going to be just a story of my personal experience with that. But if you want that information, you want to learn more and see if it's right for you, then go ahead and check it out down there. But essentially what I did was I tried out this game. I thought to myself, man, this is actually kind of fun, and they have a really grand vision. I'm really excited to see where they are in the next year. And so at the time, they had a thing that you could purchase for a very exorbitant sum of money that allowed you to print the cryptocurrency that they were using to power their ecosystem, which is called Gala Coin. And so these items were called nodes. And what you would do is you would run a node on your computer in order to do some of the processing for their decentralized network. And essentially what you're doing is you're giving processing power to the network so that you're providing a server for people to interface with. And so it's a completely different model of doing server hosting where servers are dispersed all across the world instead of at one particular location. And this makes it a lot more robust and able to withstand attacks a lot better. It also makes it so that no one particular person can take down the servers, because you would have to pinpoint every single instance or at least a majority of the instances in order to actually take control of the servers. And so it's I think a model that is going to really become popular in the next 5 to 10 years. I think we're going to see it completely overtake big server banks like you see with AWS right now, just from the standpoint of anyone with a computer can participate. And if you're already using your computer, it doesn't really cost you much to do because the thing's already turned on. I mean, you're paying for the power regardless, right? So you may as well use it to contribute to something you're passionate about, which in this case is a game. And so I thought that this was a really novel concept and I wanted to participate in it. In fact, I was so passionate about Gala Games and their node that I told my family about it, and I wanted to go in and buy a couple of nodes with my family. And so I think that this is a great time to talk about how this is not financial advice, and Gala Games has even come out and said that this is not an investment, which they're 100% right. Now, there is some speculation and people on their Discord servers and on the internet that say, oh, they're just saying that for legal reasons, right? Like this is clearly an investment. I mean, you're getting paid in order to participate in this ecosystem. It's a transactional thing. And while that's true, I would strongly suggest that you look at this as speculation and not investment, where investment is designed to give you a guaranteed return on your money. Speculation is you anticipating that you can sell something for a higher price than what you paid for it at a later date, in which most cases cryptocurrency falls into the speculation category at this stage, just because A, it's really early on in its development, and B, there's not a whole lot of value being provided in exchange for what you're actually paying for. And so until we start seeing more value come into the space being provided through these tokens in the form of different types of utility and use cases, I would highly consider you to write off any money that you put on these types of cryptocurrencies as speculation. And so I was very concerned because at the time I had just purchased a home. In fact, it's the home that you see in the background of this video. And I was very strapped for cash. And so in order to purchase a node that were retailing for $12,500 at the time when I was looking to purchase one, that would have been well over the money that I had access to at the time. In fact, the only way I was going to get one was if I had bonded with my brother and we went in together to purchase one. And so he was on board. He really trusts me. And that was, something that we definitely could have done and I talked about doing. But in the end, I decided not to. I decided to spread the net a little bit wider and go after some other cryptocurrencies and NFTs in the Web3 gaming space, which I was really passionate about, because that was the main reason I had joined GameStop, was because I wanted to build this Web3 gaming ecosystem, which I see as a real bright spot in the cryptocurrency space. Like, Web3 gaming to me is a natural evolution of free-to-play gaming, which is very popular in games like Fortnite, League of Legends. Like, very popular online games are now free to play, and then you just pay for very expensive skins that make you stand out in the game and give yourself some character, right? And so really Web3 gaming is just an extension of that. You're talking about getting paid to play a video game, but the people that do participate in the ecosystem pay exorbitant fees in order to fund everyone else getting paid. So you're just going further from that like base retail cost of a $60 game, for example, and you're going further from free to play into this pay to play. Essentially, you're paying to fund the ecosystem so that other people can make a living wage on a video game. It's a really unique model, and I think that it will provide it will hopefully get rid of publishers, because you'll be able to, as a developer, put out a game, get funding immediately from your fans, and then you can take that money and then use it to fund development, which is a really novel concept in the game development space. Typically, getting those initial funds is the hardest thing, and Web3 gaming makes that super easy, because you can just give out cryptocurrency to your fans, and then they become invested in your ecosystem, right? And so you can use that power in order to leverage and build your game out, and actually buy yourself time in order to get something out, which is a really powerful thing. And so I'm sorry for ranting into that a little bit, but I think it provides great color context into why this thing that I was looking at speculating on was something I was so interested in, right? And so I wanted this Gala node. I couldn't afford it. I decided not to do it. I spread my net into several other projects, one of which was Axie Infinity, which is now famously collapsed as a Ponzi. There, I could tell that the game wasn't very fun when I first invested into it, and I sold my Axies within a week of purchasing it. I think that one of the key tenets to Web3 gaming going forward is going to be, is the game fun? Number one, if the game is not fun, that's going to make it very hard to keep engagement and therefore keep the economy going. And two, is the economy formatted in a way that is sustainable? And I think Axie had neither of those things. It was just the first most popular game. And now Splinterlands has really taken that spot from me as my favorite Web3 game, but I'll make a different video on Splinterlands specifically. I just think it's amazing. But here we're talking about Gala and how I didn't make a whole bunch of money, right? So if I would have bought that Gala node in July when I had spoken about it with my brother, we would have made well over $1 million had we not sold any of the Gala that we had gotten from the node on a daily distribution basis and sold it at the peak. Not even a full year later. It would have been roughly 7 months after we had first purchased the node. Which blows my mind. I mean, like, what kind of investment do you have in any scenario where you can have $12,500 turn into $1 million? I mean, wow, talk about just an insane ROI. And so that's part of the reason why, you know, I don't feel too bad about not investing in this. Like I'm obviously beating myself up in this video, but realistically, I mean, that is an insane ROI. That should not be possible in almost any circumstances. And so that may have been a fluke, you know. I mean, Gala may not really be worth that, at least not at this time. And so I could never have anticipated that, and I did never anticipate that. Now, I did think that Gala was going to do extremely well. They were really positioned as the leader in the Web3 gaming space, and I still believe in them. I own a lot of their NFTs that they've sold, just not the nodes, because I didn't want to spend quite that much money when I initially started. And so I've got probably that much in the ecosystem now, but that was after I had, you know, purchased several other NFTs and flipped them in order to make enough money to enable myself to do that. So the Gala ecosystem, I think, is really great. I think that their coin is really great. Do I think you should invest in them? I don't know. I mean, again, it's speculation. So again, not financial advice for obvious reasons, but I don't think that you should necessarily think that anything in the Web3 gaming space right now is an investment. I would treat it as speculation. If you've got money that you afford to lose and you love these games that they're putting out, I mean, they're putting out some really cool stuff. I would definitely check it out if you're interested. Just play the games. I mean, you could check out the games for free right now. And so if they interest you at all, I mean, I would definitely recommend getting something that makes your time investment more worthwhile. And so I have some of these NFTs that provide extra bonuses or give me a little stat boost to make myself better in the game. And so I think that those are going to be really, you know, something that might have value in the future. And at least I get to have my piece of the ecosystem, right? And I'm contributing to funding their development. And while I'm not sure if Gala itself is uniquely poised to survive this incoming bear market that we're going to have, I think maybe they spent a bit too much money on some frivolous things in the bull market in the last year. I do think that if they do survive, they're going to be the leader in the Web3 gaming space, and that's a really powerful thing. And personally, I'm super passionate about Web3 gaming, if you couldn't tell from how long this video has been about me ranting about it. And so I will be making more videos on this topic to kind of delve into it for you. And so it has fully consumed me for the last year and a half, and I've been super thrilled to just see everything play out. And I've got another video coming up very soon talking about my current Web3 gaming holdings and how much I'm down on them in this bear market, because it's pretty depressing. But I'm sure you'll enjoy it, and I hope you enjoyed today's video, because that's all I've got for you. So if you did, leave a like and a comment below telling me if you'd like to see more of this type of content. And I appreciate you. I hope you had a great day, and I hope you felt bad for me about how I could have made a whole bunch of money, but you know, that's the dice. So